Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kircha. Coming up in today's newscast, all of Israel's air defenses go up on high alert.
The Likud and blue and white parties inch closer to forming a unity government.
And get ready for a real scare this Halloween because we'll reveal a true, terrifying story.
All air defense systems are on high alert in Israel, and that's the message from the Israeli Air Force chief amid fears that Iran will attack the Jewish state.
In recent weeks, the Israeli military has begun to believe that Tehran is planning on retaliating against Israel's regular airstrikes against its forces and proxies in the region with a large-scale attack involving cruise missiles and attack drones.
Just days ago, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu announced that Iran intends to attack Israel from Yemen. Doing so could make it much harder for the IDF to intercept such a strike because the military's intermediate and long-range air defenses are better positioned to shoot down attacks from Israel's north rather than the south. Still, though, the Israeli Air Force says their Arrow, Patriot, David Sling, and Iron Dome batteries are on alert. These air defense systems are designed to destroy incoming short-range rockets and drones to long-range missiles and aircraft. Iran appears to have been building up its drone activities in recent months, and back in August, Israeli fighter jets carried out airstrikes in Syria to thwart a planned attack on Israel by Iran-backed fighters. Israel has long vowed to prevent Iran's regional proxies from getting their hands on advanced weapons that could be used against the Israeli people, and has carried out hundreds of airstrikes in Syria to stop that from happening.
Hundreds of Netanyahu supporters are protesting near the home of Israeli Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit, calling on him to drop criminal charges against the Prime Minister. The plaza outside of Israeli Attorney General Mandelblit's home in central Israel is typically quiet, but that's not the case this week, as hundreds have taken to the streets to show their support for the Israeli Prime Minister, who they say is the subject of a witch hunt by the media, the left, and state prosecution. Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing criminal charges for fraud, bribery, and breach of trust in 3 corruption cases, but he's repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, saying that the state is just trying to oust him from power. Well, Attorney General Mandelblit is expected to decide on whether or not to indict Prime Minister Netanyahu by mid-November, and state prosecutors and the leader's lawyers have just wrapped up 4 days of pre-indictment hearings. Netanyahu supporters are accusing the state of destroying democracy, though, by leaking information regarding the Prime Minister's corruption cases to the media as a means of pressuring the justice system to take action. In fact, Israeli Justice Minister Amir Ohana says he's now considering setting up an investigative committee to examine the conduct of state prosecutors, claiming such leaks are an attempt to push for political change. Now, in other news, the state of Israel has been dealing with the international BDS movement for years, and one of the most common allegations against Israel is that Israel is an apartheid state. But our next guest is a living proof to the contrary, and he's been touring the world to spread that message. Please welcome social activist and director of Beyachad Aravim Ze Lazeh, Yosef Haddad. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what was the trigger that made you, a Christian Israeli Arab, join the IDF and then eventually start touring the world on behalf of Israel?
I was born in Haifa, and Haifa is the biggest mixed city in Israel. Jews, Druze, Arab, Christian, and Muslim living in one happy city. After that, I moved to Nazareth, the biggest Arabic city in Israel. And next to Nazareth is the Nazareth Elite and Migdal HaEmek and Jewish cities. So when I grew up with Jewish friends, Muslim friends, Druze, and Christians. And when we grew up, we really didn't care about politics. We just wanted to play soccer together. Right. And that's basically our life. And at the age of 18, my Jewish friend got listed to the IDF. I didn't. And the reason is simple. I'm an Arab. Only the Druze men and the Jewish are obligated to serve in the army. I'm an Israeli, and the IDF is Israeli Defense Force, not a JDF. It's not a Jewish Defense Force. And when I serve in the IDF, I also defend my society, the Israeli Arab society, and the whole country. And that's why I decided to do that.
Now, you fought and you actually got hurt in the Second Lebanon War in
Yes.
2006. What happened to you there, and how did you recover from your injuries? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It was actually 2 days before ceasefire and 2 months before my ending of my services. God had other plans for me. It was early morning. My unit got a call that we have to evacuate and rescue a team that got hit by an anti-tank missile. We went there. We managed to do that. And through the evacuation, we had some difficulties. So instead of finishing the whole rescue mission within 30 minutes, it took us an hour and a half. Ended up going back to our shelter daylight. My unit and my force was spotted by Hezbollah ambush, and they decided to shoot the same rocket towards me. My luck is that it didn't hit me directly, otherwise I'd be in 1,000 pieces. It hurt just a wall was next to me. From the explosion, I flew in the air, landed on my belly, and understood that my foot was cut off and shrapnels in my face, my whole body. But I said, this is not the end, and I need to recover from that. So after 1 year of rehabilitation, I was back on my feet playing soccer again.
Wow, and it was during that time that you started beginning to think about how you wanted to advocate for the state of Israel, which seems ironic and almost strange probably to some of our viewers.
I've defended Israel by joining the IDF. I should say that I was in Golani Brigade. For me and for a lot, it's the best brigade in the IDF.
That's where my father served, so yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when I finished my service and when I finished my rehabilitation, I understood that eventually I wanted to continue and serve my country. In the army, I couldn't do that anymore, obviously because of the injury, and I finished my services. But there was another way which led me to do what I'm doing today.
And what is that? That's Beyachad, right? Tell
It's
us about
Beyachad.
it.
It's the organization that called in English Together Vouch for Each Other. Beyachad Arivim זה לזה. And it's kind of ironic because Arivim, you can read it as Aravim, as Arabs.
Yeah.
My organization basically wants to be, the whole target of the organization is to bring the Arab sector closer to the Israeli society, to be an integral part of the Israeli society.
And how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, basically by a lot of work and a lot of lectures in the schools, in Jewish schools and Arab schools, and a lot of activities. Because, I'll give you an example. We've decided to do an amazing activity in the memorial of the Holocaust in the Arab society. For the first time, we managed to do, we brought a first eyewitness from the Holocaust to speak to Christian, Muslim, and Druze. It was amazing, amazing. So this thing that what's connect us.
So my final question for you, and unfortunately we have to wrap this up soon, even though we could sit here all day, is, as an Arab Israeli, I think that there are probably people within your community that don't necessarily, they are Israeli, but they don't feel as though they are part of Israeli society. And there's also Palestinian identity question that exists within that. What do you tell your friends, people who are from the Arab Israeli community, when it comes to trying to make them feel more a part of this community, more a part of this state?
So this is the big misleading conception that we have here in Israel. The majority of the Israeli Arabs want to be an integral part of the Israeli society. What we see on the news is the extremists who are the minority. And that's why, and by the way, the same thing, we see it in the world, not just only here. For instance, tomorrow, I'm heading to the United States to do a tour in the campuses in the United States to talk exactly about that and about the misleading conceptions in Israel. And I'm from what I'm seeing through the whole tour is people have no idea what we are doing here in Israel. They think that Israel is an apartheid country. And unfortunately, this is not the truth. One last sentence before we finish, and it's very important for me to say. Tomorrow I'm heading to the United States to talk in the campuses through the whole country, basically. I'm going to be in California, in Florida, and it's going to be amazing because it's a cooperation between my organization and Campus and Camera and Campus, who provide this amazing tour. My main target, eventually, is to pass the message about Israel that here, it's not what it's shown out
All
there.
right. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, the annual night run is a classic staple of Tel Aviv city culture, and ILTV Shanna Fold got to participate in it for the first time this year. So let's take a look at what went down in the streets last night.
There are 25,000 runners out here tonight. Every year, the Tel Aviv municipality puts on a 10-kilometer or 6-mile night run.
It's my 5th year to do it, so it's a great event and it's a lot of fun.
Before the event begins, the streets are cleared and quiet. But once the race starts at 8:30, all hell breaks loose, and you can really feel the energy of the city. Hey, why are you running tonight?
Oh, I love it.
You love it? Why?
Pleasure, joy, health, happiness.
Runners come from all over Israel to participate. Married couples from Beersheba, friends from Petah Tikva, and Orthodox Jewish women from Jerusalem.
When I just first moved here, I asked myself, what all these people run to? I mean, what are they doing? 2 years after, I see that I'm also doing the same thing that they did.
Other cities usually host runs during the day, but in Tel Aviv, the temperature is just too high, and many people choose to head out for their exercise under the moon.
I think it's easier for me to work out here in Israel. It's much more conducive to running than where I'm from in Texas.
Tel Avivians are really passionate about moving their bodies, but they're also really excited to party. Every year, the night ends in a huge party with music, performers, dancing, and even pizza as a reward for their hard work.
It looks like so much fun.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that all of you were able to get a good run in because last night I walked 40 minutes home because the buses were closed, and I complained about it the whole way. But I'm happy that you got a workout in.
Well, the only running I got in last night was running up to people with my microphone and asking them some questions for my story.
Well, did they at least answer?
Some gave me good answers and some told me to get out of their way.
Yeah,
As long as they're
that's fair.
responding in some way. All right. Anyway, a new archaeological finding dug up near Haifa in the north has just been revealed by the IAA, and Shanna is here with us to discuss. But first of all, Shanna,
What are you wearing?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Well, it may be Thursday, but I'm feeling a little Wednesday Addams today.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
It is
No,
Halloween.
It's Halloween, so she has the right to make these
Excellent.
jokes. And honestly, it is an amazing outfit.
Thank you.
But moving on, tell us
Yeah.
about this archaeological discovery. What was found?
Let me tell you about the archaeological dig. A family, actually, in Usha, which is a village in the north, in the South Galilee, right outside of Haifa, they found some iron hammers and nails.
Okay.
Okay, now at first I thought, it's kind of weak, who cares? But, but they're 1,400 years old, and it turns out that the reason that they were there is because it's from Jews who used to use them to build their sukkahs.
Whoa,
So- Wow.
just in time for the holidays, or right
Yes.
after Sukkot.
Yeah,
Yes.
they just missed it.
So we have nothing to be complaining about. People were working hard 1,400 years ago. Talk about tradition,
Let me
huh?
tell you, it could be you in the future because the general public is going to get an opportunity to go to this dig.
All right, Aaron, we have
Nice.
plans this weekend.
Excellent.
All right, now moving on. For this week's Torah portion with Sandra Oster-Barras, the director of the Christian Friends of Israeli Communities in Heartland.
This week's Torah portion is Noah, and it begins with the story of Noah. Now, I'm sure you all remember that story, the great flood and Noah having to build this ark. Let's take a look at what some of this can mean for us today. Okay, Noah lives in a very crazy world, a world that seems to have been turned upside down. People do evil and it's considered just perfectly fine. Sin is absolutely everywhere. Noah is a single righteous man. God selects Noah, sets him aside from the rest of the humanity of that time, and he decides to bring complete and total destruction to the earth and save Noah. Save Noah and his family, and as well save a certain designated number of every single living species. God doesn't want to recreate the world again, but he wants to start over. Noah has the choice now. He, his family, they come out of the ark, they can start all over, and they can all be righteous forever. But they're not. We're stuck with that same type of world again. What happens right after the destruction? I think even immediately, before Noah has a chance to even open his mouth, God realizes, you know what? I tried to do restart, but it really isn't going to work. He says to Noah, he says, I know that the nature of man is evil from his childhood. Now, some people have read that verse to mean, well, man is destined to be evil. That's not what it means. It means that from the beginning, God gives man the opportunity to choose. He has the ability to do evil. Of course, he also has the ability to do good. God made a choice, though. God made a choice, and that choice was to give us the choice. And he pledges to Noah and to all of us that he will never bring a destruction like this upon the world. This is Sandra Ostraveris bringing you a few minutes of Bible from the heart of biblical Israel.
Now, every woman wants long-lasting makeup, but for some women, it's actually a necessity. That's because taking off and putting on makeup during Shabbat, which is the Jewish day of rest, is forbidden.
Yeah, well, that's why the Israeli brand of makeup Jade with a G has now come to the forefront of the market with some of their amazing products.
And joining us with the details is Inbal Busquira, the public relations and makeup expert at Jade Cosmetics. So my first question for you is, what are some of the issues that Orthodox women face when it comes to their beauty routine on the weekends?
Yeah, so Orthodox women are not allowed to apply makeup on Shabbat. They're allowed to use powders, but not liquids. And they have a big social life on the weekends because, like all of us, that's their day off, and that's the day that they go to shul, and they meet everyone, and they have people over for Shabbat, and they want to look good. So if we would need for 12 hours normal, like going for work, we need for every day 12 hours makeup, which is long-lasting. You can find that. It's not easy still, but you can find that. But having makeup to stay on for 24 hours for the whole weekend, the whole Shabbat, it's not easy. So we came out with special formulas that
last for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I actually, social media influencers in the United States are going crazy over these products.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Charlene, who actually kind of showed us a test of what it's like to put Jade makeup on.
I will also show you the after. You will see for yourselves just how the makeup lasts. Take a really, really good look. Okay, I'm gonna take you into my bathroom. I couldn't say the word Shabbat in my bathroom, so I'm taking you into my bathroom now to show you what I used. Hold on. This is a full face of makeup done only by Jade. I only use Jade products on my face. I use their setting spray. I'm going to take you into my bathroom right now and show you exactly which products I use.
I mean, it literally looks like she just put on she just put on a fresh face of makeup. It's crazy. What is in this stuff? Tell us.
Okay. So we have a special formula which is long-lasting and very, very high in pigment. So this is very, very thin, so you can actually apply a very, very thin liner, okay? And it is long-lasting. This will stay on for more than 24 hours if you don't try and take it off, and it's not easy to take off.
Right, which is why we actually did a little test of our own, right? So before the show...
We are the ILTV guinea pigs.
Yes. So before the show, you actually put some lipstick and eyeliner on our wrists, and so we could see if they would actually last until the end of the show and if it will come off. And so now is our testing time. We're going to see...
Try and take it off.
Yeah.
Me first.
And Aaron, you're going to need this because your wife Tirza keeps Shabbat.
She does. This is like...
It's not coming off.
You got to scrub.
Look,
You have to scrub.
It's not coming off.
You have to scrub.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not...
Okay, I just found my next victim. This is what I'm going to be wearing now.
You're actually wearing our lipstick now.
You're right, I should have mentioned that I'm wearing Jade lipstick and eyeliner. And this is really important for me too. I don't necessarily keep Shabbat, but at the end of the day, I am a news anchor. And I go film in the mornings, and then I have to keep on a full face of makeup until the show in the evening. So this is something that I know that I want to use. I'm now ready to go out. I hope we're going to see if this lasts until tomorrow.
Listen, I'm feeling very pretty, my wrist and I. So I'm thinking this is going to be
All right. Well, this
awesome.
is amazing, guys. So if you're interested in getting Jade products, you can go online. They actually deliver to all around the world in the United States.
And the shipping is 2 days shipping.
Wow.
2 to 3 days it gets there. And what's nice about this application of lipstick, it is very tiny and you don't need really a liner. You can just apply it easily with this applier. And if you want, you can use our pencil underneath, which makes it even more long-lasting. And the other side we have is it's not a gloss. It's actually, it gives you some moist to your lips so it won't be dry, and it still stays on
It's amazing.
24 hours.
Well,
Very cool.
thank you so much for joining us,
you,
Inbal.
Inbal.
Thank you
And
very much.
we'll take some pictures of ourselves tomorrow to see.
I
see
can't wait.
what remains. All right.
Now, in case you weren't paying attention, today is October 31st, which means it's Halloween, the spookiest night of the year.
And so to celebrate this year, we turn to ILTV's Nittany Manson for a true-to-life tale that is sure to send shivers down anyone's spine.
Demon, spirit, restless soul. Every faith has their own words, and Judaism is no exception. Jewish folklore tells of the Dybbuk, an evil spirit bound to this world by an earthly tether, in this case, to a box.
But what is this Dybbuk box, and where did it come from? The name comes from an ancient Hebrew word meaning to cling. And according to Jewish mythology, a Dybbuk is a malicious spirit, believed to be a tormented lost soul attached to an inanimate object. Until, that is, someone comes along to release it. The Dybbuk box first showed up on the radar back in 2001, when a man named Kevin Manis purchased the box at an estate sale. The seller told him that her grandmother had kept the box hidden away after bringing it with her from Spain after surviving the Holocaust. And upon hearing that it was a family heirloom, he offered to give it back. The response, however, was, "No, we don't want it." This should have been his first clue that something was wrong, but Manis took the box home, and inside it he found some rather strange items, including a lock of blonde hair, a small statue with the Hebrew word shalom engraved on it, and a single candlestick. While in possession of the box, Manis and his family experienced some unnerving occurrences, horrific shared nightmares, the stench of cat urine, and most damning, his mother suffering a stroke the exact day he gifted her the box. He realized he could no longer keep it and put it up for sale on eBay. Over the next few years, the box switched hands a few times, causing those coming in contact with it to suffer, from hair falling out to coughing up blood, full body welts, and nightmares. One owner even went so far as to consult rabbis to see how to reseal the Dybbuk inside the box, and then he hid it away, until a later time when he would donate the box to Ghost Adventures star Zach Baggins to keep in his museum of haunted artifacts, which is how it came into contact with American rapper Post Malone. Malone was visiting his friend Baggins after a show when they decided to take a look at the Dybbuk box. In a later interview with E.T., Baggins explained how once in the room they felt odd and even lost control of his actions, beginning to panic and weep as an unknown force urged him to become a conduit and touch the box with one hand and Malone with the other. The pair then fled the room, and in the coming weeks, Malone was the subject of major media coverage as he experienced a series of very unfortunate events. First with the tires blowing out on his small plane that forced an emergency landing, and then his being involved in a near-fatal car accident. In his E.T. interview, Baggins explained Malone's curse, saying it always happens in threes. Things like this happen, this is real stuff. Malone was not the only time that the Dybbuk box garnered large media attention either. In 2012, the film The Possession was loosely based on this story, and strange things befell the cast and crew.
Slow down!
Are these just coincidences? Maybe the Dybbuk is real after all. But here at ILTV, we agree that whatever you do, don't mock the box. Happy Halloween.
I don't know what's creepier, that look or what we just watched, but
I'm an elephant and it's adorable.
Oh my God, and on that note, let's just take a look at the weather forecast. Guys, tonight you can wear your breeziest Halloween costume because the evening should be comfortably cool with lows between 55 or 13 degrees Celsius in Jerusalem and 66 or 19 degrees Celsius in Tel Aviv. And then over the weekend, you can expect more partly cloudy skies and highs of around 75 or 24 degrees Celsius in the north and center and about 87 or 31 degrees Celsius in the south by Eilat. Aaron.
All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.52 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. I'm Elephant Porous.
And I'm Natasha Kirchuk, and we promise we won't be wearing this the next time that we see you.